COP28 going on in Dubai. Dalhousie University has a delegation there. Dr. Anya Waite is Associate Vice President Research of Dalhousie University and Scientific Director and CEO of the Ocean Frontier Institute. Dr. Waite, thanks for joining the show. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you, Todd.
All right, so what's the tell us about what it's like to be at COP28. What's going on there? Give us all, kind of paint the picture, if you will.
Well, it's super busy. It's 30 degrees. It's a beautiful venue with lots of gorgeous buildings. It's people of all nationalities and all colors and flavors of costumes wandering down these wide avenues, talking in intense tones in about 100 different languages about how to save the world from climate change. So it's a super exciting place to be, and a place where you just learn so much every day. We're having an amazing time, but it is super intense. So tiring, demanding, but a great place to be.
All right, I read in where did the Guardian, I believe it was. I'll just read a bit of it. The president of COP28, Sultan Al-Jaber, has claimed there is no science indicating that a phase out of fossil fuels is needed to restrict global heating to 1.5 degrees centigrade. The Guardian and the Center for Climate Reporting revealed. Al-Jaber also said a phase out of fossil fuels would not allow sustainable development unless you want to take the world back into caves. And from what I'm reading, there's been a pretty swift response to this. Did you hear this? And if so, what's your response?
Oh, yeah, we heard it for sure. And look, there's always going to be people who feel like their interests lie in continuing to burn fossil fuels. I think the science community knows that that's not true. There's plenty of evidence to say that we need to stop our emissions and that we won't be able to stop global warming unless we do so. And I think what we want to do is focus in on what the real progress is here, which is 193 nations working behind the scenes to come to real agreement on what to do in the future. And there's something happening right now, Todd, called the global stocktake, which is for the first time since the Paris Agreement in 2015. All nations are saying, where have we come? How far have we really got in terms of this, fighting climate change and reducing carbon dioxide emissions? And where do we need to go in future? I think we need to focus in on that because a couple of people speaking up globally in a way that to preserve their right to burn fossil fuels. I don't think we want to get distracted by that. We want to focus in on what's actually being accomplished here. And of course, we can't stop fossil fuels right away. That's not going to get us anywhere. We have to phase them out as quickly as possible. But in order to do so, we need lots of alternative energy sources, and we need to have an economy that isn't relying on fossil fuels. And that's going to take us some time. That can't happen soon enough, but we just need to recognize that that's the truth. And to a certain extent, that's what he was getting at, but we don't want to get distracted by that. We want to focus in on what's really being accomplished, and there's so much being done here. It's very exciting.
Right. Some people have expressed a concern that this is being held in Dubai and that Sultan Al-Jaber has this type of platform as the president of COP28, that the optics of that don't really look good. Is this become a bit of a distraction?
I think it can. You're exactly right, Todd. It can become a real distraction. I think what we have here, though, is 193 nations coming together to work together. When you think about it, how often do even two nations come together to agree on something, let alone 10, let alone almost 200? So it's an opportunity for the world to come together. And, from Halifax, we have this amazing delegation from Dalhousie University, and Canada has just invested in an amazing new research program transforming climate action. And we now have $150 million of research funding that's opening doors on the world stage for us to really convene some of the big international conversations around how the ocean controls our climate. And that's what we're focusing on. Very, very exciting. We're talking to people all around the Atlantic Basin, Colombia, Brazil, France, Germany, UK, US, everybody's here, and we're having very, very pointed and clear conversations about how we can move this forward. So it's exciting, and we want to focus on what we can achieve and not get distracted by, some, frankly, grandstanding that is really taking away from the focus of where we should be.
All right, when it comes to our record, we as a country, some would say, have been laggards. We've not hit our targets, whatever targets they've been from Paris, and there have been others we have not met. And as a matter of fact, our emissions have gone up, and our reliance on fossil fuels and the industry we rely heavily on for when it comes to our finances of our country as well, and GDP. So what's your response, or what are your thoughts, I guess, about this country and the fact that we've not had the record that I'm sure you wish we did or would like us to see us have?
Yeah, Todd, you're exactly right. I mean, Canada's economy is to a large extent built on fossil fuels. So to a certain extent, we have the same challenges as United Arab Emirates, right? We are built on fossil fuels. Our economy still depends on fossil fuels a lot. And we have to find ways to move to decarbonize without jeopardizing our economy. And we need to do that by moving into alternative energy sources, really building up the next generation of expertise and innovation to take Canada into a whole new area. And that's what we're doing, at Dalhousie. We're leading a new research program, which is going to drive innovation, which is going to build new knowledge and train up a whole new generation of practitioners that can lead the Canadian economy to the right place. And it's going to take a decade or two. And in that period of time, we need to focus on how to decarbonize. But we can't instantly turn off fossil fuels. I bet most of your listeners have spent, some oil and gas getting to where they are at work this morning. So we need to work on it. There's been really big changes. You could see in the U.S. they started to produce electric cars, and they thought, electric trucks, who's going to buy those? Well, they sold out almost instantly. So people are changing their tune. They see how expensive oil is, and they see how battery-operated cars can go a long way. That's just one of the ways. We've got offshore wind coming up off Nova Scotia. That could be a game changer for Halifax. And Halifax is turning into this hub of ocean research and ocean innovation and tech, which is really going to explode, and that's going to be good for our economy. So a lot of good news here, Todd.
And hydrogen, and that's going to take a lot of energy, and wind energy ties into what you're talking about with offshore wind energy, which is that energy needed to produce the hydrogen in order to make it full, completely green technology. So those are pretty big opportunities for our region.
They really are, Todd, and I'm glad you mentioned that. And as you know, probably the Newfoundland is now starting a new green hydrogen product, and they're going to be selling a green hydrogen potentially in the form of methane to Germany. And that's been driven by some of the thinking behind John Risley's enterprises. And I just, there's so much cool stuff happening in Atlantic Canada, and Halifax is really the center of that universe. So we've got a lot to gain from this push for sustainable energy, for sure.
Okay, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Hope it's a very informative and productive time remaining in Dubai. Thank you so much, Dr. Waite.
Thank you very much, Todd. Really great to talk to you.
All right, take care. Dr. Anya Waite, Associate Vice President, Research of Dalhousie University and Scientific Director and CEO of the Ocean Frontier Institute.